Thank you so much for joining us today. I think Speak Out UP is a really important initiative. So it's really nice to gain some clarity about what it actually is for the first years. So you guys are a fairly new initiative. So when did you start and how did you come about?
So Lefa is currently in House Humanities, but about a year ago now I was the Community Engagement Officer for House Humanities, and we ran the Orientation Week program where David Kabwa was the chairperson of House Humanities, and it was where we kind of first got introduced to Speak Out because it was initially just a project that was more of a campaign, and it had a helpline, but it wasn't really more than that was conceived of by the DUR. And Sarah Matseke from HR, she came and did this presentation for the first years during the Orientation Week program for Speak Out, and it was really amazing to see. We had never heard of it, and we were all kind of like, Speak Out, what is this? Like, where is Speak Out? What is this thing? You know, there was nothing tangible. And when we saw what she was saying, she was so passionate and so knowledgeable, and she mentioned so many things like speaking out about silence and, you know, coming out of that shell of being afraid to talk about these things happening to you and to people that you know. So I actually approached Sarah and I kind of said, you know, in House Humanities we want to do something about this harassment problem. And she was actually overwhelmingly receptive and grateful, and she was the one who actually suggested we need an office and we need to be tangible and we need to be visible. Although it started as a House Humanities project, it very quickly became something that we worked so closely with Dr. Madiba in the Department of Student Affairs that it kind of became a special project by the DSA. And by third quarter last year we had secured an office at the Center for Sexuality, AIDS and Gender, and we started to run training programs, and that's how I think about the time that you found us. And we ran a bunch of training programs where we had students who were interested kind of undergo training to consult people if they came into the office with any questions or problems, and that's kind of where we sort of ended off last year.
Sure. Sounds like it's been a very busy journey, but well worth it.
Definitely.
So what exactly do you encourage students to speak out about? Is it mostly focused on sexual harassment? Is that what you do? Are there other issues such as gender-based violence that you also encourage?
I think they all intersect so much. And I think gender-based violence, rape, sexual harassment, sexual violence, abuse, all of those things, whether they're at home, in your institutions, in your personal relationships, by strangers, by people that you work with, even for the staff here, I think all of it is kind of all in its own realm that needs Speak Out. So I think it's about all of them. I think most commonly sexual harassment is definitely more frequent because it is so variable in terms of how serious it can be.
Especially here in the university, I don't think people know spaces where they can actually talk about something like this, because it happens between students and students or lecturers and students, and if someone is in power, who do you turn to, who do you talk to, where do you go?
So where does a student actually go if they have been sexually harassed?
Well, that's kind of why we're here, because I think all of us have been in that situation of like, oh my gosh, this has just happened to me. Where do I actually go now? I mean, you hear from the university, we have, you know, the student support center, and we have a legal thing, and there's in Malele there's a crisis clinic. But when it actually happens to you, or when it actually happens to somebody that you know, it's kind of that question. And that's exactly why we are here, is because our office is supposed to be there that we will refer you and we will help you get to wherever it is you need to go. Whether you need emotional support, psychological support, legal support, any of those things, Speak Out is kind of one of the first points of contact, and we aim to be incredibly visible and central and tangible so that it's no longer a question, particularly for first years who are very vulnerable to these kinds of things. I think other than that, I mean, it's a huge challenge because Sarah Matseke on HR is one of the people who handles the cases when there are things like a rape. And exactly that, half the time, you know, because she holds so many different positions, she might not even always be in her office. And her office is like on the other side of campus and all those kinds of things. So I would say that I hope people would say that Speak Out is where they go.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I think it's a great initiative and much needed. And yeah, it's been great chatting to you, learning more about it.
Thank you.